Hey there, NterNow family. Today, I'm having an interview with Anya Chrisanthon, Chief Brand Officer of Inugo. I've been really interested in the different innovations coming to home building, and they are the leaders in some of the new sales tech. And she just arrived back from PCBC, and I wanted to learn all about the new trends that she was speaking on and some of the e-commerce and online buying processes that they've helped new home builders introduce. And so I really wanted to bring that to our family members so that we could learn some more about their experience. And so I'm going to pass the mic over to Anya.
Well, hi there. Thanks so much for having me on today. I'm super excited to be here and to share a little bit of what we talked about at PCBC. So, Barrett, as you know, the trend is definitely shifting more to a consumer DIY self-service model. That's why you guys are thriving as a company, and we see more and more home builders embrace the self-touring model. And we see this with other businesses. So, for example, McDonald's, since 2020, they have installed self-service kiosks in all of their stores. And what's interesting is that not only it solves the labor issue, right now it's impossible to find qualified workers, as you know, but it also cuts back on training. But what's super cool about this is that we see that McDonald's reported that every transaction through the self-service kiosk is on average higher by $1.76 versus when they actually do it through a live person. So, it takes out that judgment, when we feel self-conscious as consumers standing in front of somebody else, judging our decisions. And it's really that low pressure or no pressure approach to buying. Now, if you ask, how does this translate into new home sales? Well, we see very similar situation when we give consumers an ability to select their options online. So when you give them an option to select online independently, we see that they spend on average 30% more money on options. That is where builders make their money, is option selling. So that's
definitely huge. On the margin there.
Yeah, huge margin. And average consumer spends about 8 hours online playing with the design tools. So it's definitely huge. I mean, I remember back in my selling days, I used to meet with my customers and they would have an hour to finalize their selections. And oftentimes it'd be the first time they see the selections in front of them in person. And, they'd be asking me, hey, what do you think, Anya? Does this look good? The backsplash with this cabinet. And we literally have an hour to cram this all in and make those decisions. So it's very stressful for consumer. Certainly was not a good experience for me, because oftentimes I felt like I was, a counselor between the husband and wife, because wife wants to spend more money, totally. Husband does not want to spend more money, but giving them an option to do it independently on their own really allows them to work through all of that. And hey, we see that at the end, they do spend more money, which is a win-win for everybody, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally a buyer that likes to do their research and things like that. I definitely feel the sales pressure in certain situations. So I always prefer to sort of go back to my house and do a little research on my own. So I can definitely see how, taking those buy online options can really help, especially as you can sort of go through the financial calculations, like you said, to get the maximum price for the amount of things that you want. So can definitely understand that.
For sure. One of the things that we have been talking about and I've been hearing with obviously everything moving online is buy now. And when I hear conversations that builders are having about buy now, to me, it seems like it's either or option, right? Either we're doing the buy now or we're sticking with the salespeople. And what I wanted to tell you is that it's not one or the other. Buy now does not mean that we're getting rid of salespeople. Buy now is actually just a process of bringing your sales process online. It doesn't mean that it's going to be remote necessarily. So I like to give an example of shopping at Home Depot, right? When I shop at Home Depot, I can go on their website, I can research the product, and then I can go and pick it up in the store. But when I pick it up in the store, they don't roll out a bunch of paper with contract paperwork. I swipe my credit card and it's all done online. right? So I can speak with the sales associate in store. They can help me find what I want, but at the end of the day, I'm swiping my credit card. Or I can do the same thing. I'm sitting on the couch, and after I make my decision, I can have them ship that part directly to my home, or I can go pick it up. So same thing here with buy now. It's not about the location, it's about the time. So buy now is bringing salespeople and consumers together. Technology allows us to communicate better so that salespeople can visualize what consumers can visualize. And we're able to transact online. And so what it allows you to do as a builder is to see everything real time. Because it connects to your ERP, you can see real time which lots are available, what's happening in the supply chain, where you are with financials real time. And as you can imagine, Barrett, right now with everything that's happening with supply chain, increasing prices, et
Yeah,
cetera,
it's chaotic.
it's very important that you see what's going on. So transparency is super important here. And one of the things I wanted to mention with buy now is that, buy now is not as easy as just adding a button to your website, because it's not like you're buying a pair of shoes, right? The decision to buy a home is an important one. And so what you need to do as a builder in order to implement buy now successfully is you have to offer interactive tools online to build confidence with your consumers. So what I'm talking about here is an ability to visualize homes, such as virtual tours, ability to price homes and customize their home, seeing the pricing, the options, everything in one place. And then as a final step, once they feel comfortable with the whole process, then we talk about buy now. But I think a lot of people are talking about buy now, ignoring the whole middle part, which is all the tools that are necessary to make it happen. And when you have those tools online, when you're adding those tools online, you're actually helping your salespeople, because your salespeople can incorporate that in their sales process. I mean, again, thinking back to my selling days, I remember when I sold from blueprints, consumers came in, I have one model home, I'm selling them a different model home. So I'm literally drawing on the blueprints to show them how it's going to be different from this. And it's just a disaster, because it never comes out looking like what I imagine it would come out. It certainly doesn't come out looking like what my customers imagine it to look like. So when you have those tools that allow consumers to visualize it, your salespeople can use that during the sales process with them, whether they're meeting that consumer in the model home or if they're meeting that consumer online through a virtual tour, doing these steps together. But by no means it means elimination of salespeople.
Gotcha. I've got a quick question on there. So with the transparency on pricing, does that help give the consumers a little bit more confidence with the ever increasing rates here? That way, they can theoretically show, the future price discounts that may come, can they show that online and, entice the consumer to back into the buying funnel, that kind of thing?
Yes, actually, as we're going to talk, I'm going to play this quick video that shows a tool for interactive floor plan, which basically allows you to customize the plan. And as you can see at the top corner here, as we're making selections, you can see not only price of the home changing, but also the monthly payment change. And when we're in an environment when interest rates are rising and consumer confidence falls, you need to be able to provide tools for the consumers that build confidence, and transparency builds confidence. So giving a tool like that where they can go online, personalize the home. When you're personalizing a home, it builds ownership in the experience. It creates that endowment effect where we take ownership of something before it becomes ours. It's a lot more difficult to give it up. So the conversion rates increase when you're introducing tools like that. But also as a consumer, I want to feel comfortable with my decision to move forward. And I don't need a pressure of a salesperson to talk me into a monthly payment that may not be comfortable for me. So if you can show me what that monthly payment looks like, my taxes, my HOA, everything, so that I can see that, hey, adding that $30,000 option is really not that much of a difference on my monthly payment. It probably makes sense to do it right now. Then thinking about remodeling my house down the road. That's the kind of tool that you want to offer right now. And when your salespeople are talking to your prospects, this is an excellent way to show how their monthly payment can change. You can create that natural urgency by walking through this tool online with your prospect, again, whether they're sitting right next to you or you're meeting virtually, and say like, hey, let's change this interest rate. Instead of say 5.78, let's see what happens when that rate goes up to 6%. And for a lot of consumers, they're not educated on this. So they have no idea what a difference a 0.25% can make. Because, you think like 0.25%, what, it's not that much, but it
Yeah,
makes
it's been a big
difference.
sticker shock to people that I know who have been shopping for new homes. 0.5, 0.75 basis point increases really add up to make that monthly payment on a new home quite challenging at the higher end here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you got to show them. I was just doing a podcast with Myers Barnes, and he said something like 90% of believing is seeing it, not what you hear, but what you see visually. So this is an excellent tool to allow your consumers to actually see for themselves and build natural urgency. I mean, right now, when you're following up with your prospects, it's an excellent topic to follow up on, is to discuss interest rates and show them exactly how it's going to affect them.
Absolutely. And now they have a design online that you can reference as opposed to just some piece of paper that you might have sent them, like a PDF or a brochure or something like that. So
yeah. And then one last thing I wanted to wrap this all together is to just say, historically, we've had a lot of different channels that consumers could communicate with us. Your website, they're going to go to your sales center, they're going to talk to you on social media, but they were all kind of like standalone channels, meaning that, when I engaged with you on social media, and then I came into your sales center, there really was no way for me to know that I was the one talking to you, and there's no record of that. And for a consumer, that can be a really frustrating experience. Think about the OSC experience. If I engage with online sales counselor over the phone, and then they set up an appointment for me, and I go into the model home to meet with the sales rep, and then the sales rep is acting like I've never met them because they have no idea what I've talked about with an OSC. For a consumer, that's really frustrating because now I have to repeat myself over and over again. So now what we want to think about is creating that omni-channel experience for your consumers, where instead of being disconnected, now you are seeing everything together. It's connected. So for example, I'm going to start on a website designing a home. I can save my progress. I can go to the model home, maybe using NterNow, right? Self-service. I'm going to tour the home independently. And then I can log in on the kiosk inside the sales center, bring up what I have saved, where I left off. Now that I see it in person, I can make the changes. I can go back home. I can log back into my computer, and I can continue the process where I left off. So it's all about being that connected experience for a consumer. Don't make them repeat themselves. It's like a passing the baton, right? So make sure it's a smooth process for them. The more seamless the experience, the better customer experience it is.
Absolutely. We love helping people in the DIY space as they self-tour. So that makes total sense that they want this online as well.
Yes. So that's all that I wanted to share with you today. I think keep an eye for consumers being comfortable doing more and more independently. And it's about providing them with tools, empowering them to do that. And it's not a threat to salespeople. At the end of the day, those tools allow salespeople to engage their consumers that much better.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. We just had a quick conversation on some of the innovation happening in home building, and I appreciate your time today.
Thank you. It was fun, and see you guys later. Bye.
All right. Bye.